What's up, y'all? It's your boy QEP, Nerds Rule the World. Screened The Wedding Banquet at home. I'm here doing another screening, but I screened this one at home. Wanted to give you my initial thoughts on The Wedding Banquet. One of my favorites for the year. I really enjoyed this film. The amazing AAPI representation by Bowen Yang, Kelly Marie Tran, Andrew Ahn, the whole squad, and then Lily Gladstone in that piece. Really good, but just all the different themes of it in regards to being part of the queer community, getting married, life, relationships. Definitely recommend this film. I'll have a full review on the NRW, as well as probably talking about it on the radio, because yes, The Wedding Banquet is a winner, y'all. Good times with that film. Go check it out when it drops. Your boy QP, Nerds Rule the World.
Hello, everyone. My name is Heather Hurt with the NRW, where Nerds Rule the World. It is 1993, and Ang Lee is releasing his second film of all time, The Wedding Banquet. Oh, wait, sorry. It's 2025. I'm so sorry. It's 2025. We have a reimagining of the classic queer film, The Wedding Banquet. Before we get into the who's, the what's, the whens, and the wheres, let's watch the trailer.
Baby's gonna change everything.
I'll teach the baby art and Chris will change the diapers. You're giving me
Lee would be such a good mom.
So would you.
Doesn't matter if it's Lee or me, because we don't have the money.
His visa runs out in a few months and he doesn't want to go back to Korea.
My grandmother doesn't know I'm gay.
You come out, they cut you off.
I have a proposal. You marry me and I'll pay for Liz to grow a baby.
What?
Me? My daughter marrying a man.
It's for the cause. We're helping a gay couple stay together.
Delete all of them?
All of it. Every pride parade photo, every national coming out day post.
Can I still post Instagram stories?
Do you want grandchildren?
I'll delete Instagram now.
Dan's grandmother flew in from Korea to meet her future granddaughter-in-law.
What are we supposed to do exactly?
We gotta de-queer the house. You.
What?
You look gay.
When I see something,
Honey, I'm home.
and when I try to help,
Have you picked the wedding date?
We don't want a ceremony.
No ceremony?
This is absurd. All so you can get a green card.
Let's try looking more in love.
I don't even want to be an American. The trains are so slow and I never know how much to tip.
할아버지 물론 네 결혼 기다리셔. 니들 다 바보야.
What did she say? She said we're dumb.
And we're back. I forgot to say this, by the way. That's Kuya P with me, right there. That one. I don't know why I didn't say that at the beginning. I just kind of went into my spiel. That is The Wedding Banquet, once again, the reimagining of the classic Ang Lee film. It was written and directed by Andrew Ahn, who I was lucky enough to have an interview with. But we'll talk about that in just a little bit, as well as his co-writer, James Seamus. The cast. I'm only going to talk about the main cast here. Once again, it takes a village to make a film, especially even one as close knit as this one. But Bowen Yang plays Chris, Lily Gladstone as Lee, Kelly Marie Tran as Angela, Han Gi-chan is Min, Joan Chen as Mei Chen, and Yuh-Jung, I'm sorry if I say that a little bit harsh, is Yuh-Jung, who is also grandma in that trailer. That's the main cast. And honestly, like for the fact that sometimes it surprises me when a small film like this gets like such a freaking hard winning cast. Like that's just incredible. Like that's you're just looking at star power. It's crazy. This film is very simple. It's a very simple plot line. If you've seen the original, it's based off of that. A gay Korean man is trying to. He does not want to live up to the expectations of his grandfather. He does not want to become a creative director at his grandfather's company, a very well-to-do Korean company that has made its way at an international level. He just wants to be with his boyfriend. That's all he wants to do. Wants to be with his boyfriend, Chris. Chris, who feels, who is completely indecisive he is an only child. Many only children have this issue where they cannot make decisions because their parents have high expectations of them. And not coming from this, I'm sure you could say more to this. There is a known tiger mom element prominent in the AAPI community. So there's a lot riding on him as an only child, especially of an Asian family. You have his best friend Angela, who is played by Kelly Marie Tran here, and her partner. I'm so bad with green screen. Who is played by Lily Gladstone. Lee. They are kind of playing along, trying to help Min get to where he wants to be so that he can stay with Chris. All that comes down to a whole bunch of silly, goofy things that you kind of see coming, but it's also a queer story that many queer folks can feel comfortable with, that can recognize with, especially if you are a queer Asian person. There are different types of expectations conservatively in many Asian cultures still, and I'm not talking about the Trump conservative, I'm talking about traditional conservative that is still being accepted slowly in the Asian cultures. With that being said, that is the plot. That's the main story. Going to try and the movie just came out on April 18th, so we're probably going to give a little bit of spoilers here, but we're going to try and reduce it because we do want you to see the movie. We want you to experience it yourself. So with that being said, Kuya P, what were your initial? I know that you had. I'm going to just step back for a second. In our original conversation, you had some initial concerns about this film and how sometimes these types of movies can kind of tumble into laughing too hard at oneself. So let's talk again. What were your initial thoughts of when we first saw the trailer?
I hadn't seen the original, still haven't seen the original. But yeah, with representation, which is what we all want, sometimes I'll use Easter Sunday, for example, Joe Coy, as a Filipino. I had a lot of concerns that he, in his comedy, his humor, his stand-up, he makes fun of our culture in-house. And it's okay when it's a person in our culture doing it, but then when a broader audience, a white audience, just an other audience in Filipino laughs at it, it kind of stings. It hurts a little, you know what I'm saying? And you don't want that to become the perception, and all, there's a lot of layers to that, right? And so that was a concern with Easter Sunday. Having friends in the LGBTQI community like yourself, see things like this, you just always are concerned of the other laughing in such a way, or just it hitting a chord that it could be offensive and not where it should be taken, And that's just always a concern with anybody that, as an ally, I try to be the best ally. If I'm not part of that community, because I put myself into those shoes. So as an Asian American, I'm, love the representation here, but I also have LGBTQI friends. How are they going to portray the comedy in this? It would be the same with a Black film, with a Hispanic film, just all of that. And that was just a slight concern. I didn't know where they're going to go with it. And not to say that the trailer gave me those energies, but we're living in Trump's America now, people. So I'm a lot more sensitive to a lot of things, and how it will come off of that is just always going to be concerned. I think with any film that we make, you know what? Let me not just say Trump's America. It's as any person of color creating a film in today's white male dominated world, you're always curious how it's going to be taken. And now it's ever more present in Trump's America, I guess, that feeling comes across. So that was just the concern, as always, is how do we play these things up? Andrew Ahn did Fire Island like a year or two ago, which was an amazing film that I also thought was great for the culture. But that was concern there, just how people are going to take things. But I love that regardless of that, there's a fearlessness I feel with creatives that are just, what? Fuck what everybody else say, and that's what's important. Fuck what the world else thinks. I'm gonna make this film for me, my people, my culture, my audience that I know wants this, and he's doing it. Because I loved Fire Island, and I'm not even part of that community, but I know he made that for his community, and it did well. And I think the same is gonna happen with The Wedding Banquet. But we'll get into that review portion. But from me in regards to my concerns, that is the why I had concern. And I'll get into whether or not, when we dive into the film, if they did a great job with that. But yeah.
Absolutely. You don't want anything to become fodder.
Yes.
That's really what the conversation is you don't want anything to become an element of representation to become fodder to someone, because we know that we've said this many times on this channel. If you are a bigot, or if you are only looking at something because of sexual orientation, gender, or skin color, you are a bigot, not a critic. So when it comes down to what we have, is we have a lot of people who are looking at this with bigotry and not with criticism. And we will talk about some of those criticisms. We'll actually use in this video an example of that, because I have some personal, as a member of the LGBTQIA community, I have a comment, something that I talked to Andrew Ahn about in my interview. And it was one of those where there are always these moments where we are concerned that stories of representation can become fodder for those who are just awful. But we are going to try and look at this to the best of our ability through a critical point of view, a critical lens, because that's what our job is. That's what we're here to do for you. And that's what y'all have put your trust in for us. With that being said, my initial thoughts were to try and ease Kuyupi's opinions. Like I made the comment, I actually even showed it to Andrew Ahn, that I got gay shit just hanging up on my wall everywhere, just like in the trailer. It's just because it's what you do. You be, when you're proud, who you are, you're allowed, you are proud. It doesn't matter if you are gay, straight, Asian, black, white, you have what you want on your walls. You can just go into any Christian home and just see that. Just say. But when I first saw this, I was actually pretty excited. Once again, the cast struck me like, holy crap! You have Oscar nominees, Emmy winners. I didn't mention this. I'm sorry. Bobo Lee, who plays Kendall, they are a non-binary representation in this film. You've got every single letter of the spectrum in this film, of the community in this film, and I was really excited for this movie. I can just hear the gays coming at me here. I have not seen the original Wedding Banquet. I knew that this was a remake, recreation. That's really what this is, and we'll explain what the difference is in a second. But I knew this was a remake of a film. I did not know it was an Ang Lee film. Cool. And I had never seen it before, but this is basically the original is basically queer required watching. So don't worry, I'm going to watch it. I just haven't had a chance to. I'm so sorry. But of course, what really pulled me is Bowen Yang. He's like the gay queer, everybody's favorite. I loved him in Wicked. He's still one of my favorite characters in that film, even though he only was in there for like 10 minutes. But yeah, I was really excited for this movie. So now that we've said the initials, Kuyupi, if you're cool, are you okay with me starting this time? Because I've got a couple of thoughts I really want to get in.
No worries, please go. Yeah.
This movie, from a gay perspective, from a queer perspective, was a lot of what I wanted. I'm not gay, I'm bisexual, just to be clear. But it's one of those where this was a lot of what I wanted, but I do have several comments when it comes to a personal opinion versus what a criticism is. This movie was really fun to watch. It was really entertaining. The pacing was, I think, really well done. It wasn't a long film, and we got to see the truth, what many people, not just people within a community, not just Asian people, not just gay people. What I really liked was the symbolism of these are just human beings living their lives. They might have elements of, Min is a Korean man who's fighting for his right to be a gay man in America because he knows he cannot do it outwardly in Korea, especially with his grandfather. You just have Bowen Yang just gay. He's just a gay man, and he's accepted for being a gay man. Bobo Lee, who plays Kendall, once again, they're just there. They do talk about what their struggles were when they came out to their parents, but they didn't, it's not a conversation that you have to dive into wholeheartedly. It's just there. With that being said, that brings in one of my biggest personal complaints. Once again, this is a personal criticism, not an actual critique. Actually, it is kind of both, because they're acting. I'm not really sure what sexuality. Wow, I'm totally blanking. Kelly Marie, I almost said Marie Tran. Oh my God. Kelly Marie Tran's sexuality is, or Lily Gladstone. I think Lily Gladstone might be in the community. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm not really sure what their sexuality is. However, in this film, I did not get lesbian at all. I got friends. And you know what? There are many people out there who who just want kids, and so they have kids and they become, domestic partners. They're not necessarily partners; they're just domestically there, and they have friends who want to be there for them. But especially in the final scene when we find out that Lily's character Lee is actually pregnant. Sorry, spoiler. There's just this weird hug, and it's like that's what I would give that hug to, like, my friend. I would not give that hug to my lover, my partner, my husband. I wouldn't do that. Whereas these two, they gay, they gay. Um, and then, of course, that brings me to my second thing. There is a film that Andrew Ahn did, and I'm kind of curious to watch it now. It's called Chasing Amy, and I actually brought this up on purpose. These two are. It's kind of funny. They're called codependent best friends. That's what they are yelled at multiple times, and they bang. Spoiler. And what happens afterwards was very Chasing Amy, the original version to me, which has a lot of gay people, a lot of the queer community questioning it, because you don't need to be a man to make a lesbian straight. You don't need to do that. It's kind of weird. It's kind of awkward. And it kind of gave me the icks at times, the way that it was portrayed in the film. It's like, why is a gay man and a lesbian woman having sex? It seems weird. And the aftermath does seem actually very modern today. There's many types of relationships out there. People of every single type of sexuality are getting together, and it's nice to see in a public place. But this felt kind of forced to me, and I did not like it too much. But I brought it up to Andrew Ahn, and he actually had a wonderful response to it. So please go watch that interview. Go listen to him talk about why he made this movie, what this felt for him as a queer man, and why he added that specific scene. And it did change my mind, and that's really important. It's important to hear more about the creation of something before you immediately assume. But as an overall film, I enjoyed this movie. Is it for everyone? I don't think so. It's not going to be as funny as you would assume this cast would do, in personal opinion. So with that being said, Kuyapi, what are your thoughts?
Awesome. Interesting take, and respectfully take your take. I enjoyed this film. I thought this cast was great. I see your point. I always was curious about Lily Gladstone and Kelly Marie Tran. Curious, and when they show up in this film as our gay couple, I was like, oh, I didn't know. Like you, I'm not sure if they're part of the community. It doesn't surprise me, but there's a uniqueness in, like you said, there's a certain way you hug somebody, and when you really love somebody or showing something. So I think a rewatch is going to definitely need to be in effect to see that affection. Although they're amazing actors, they are award-winning actors, Academy nominated actors. But I thought their performances still were fine. Obviously, Han Ji Chan and Bowen, amazing. I really appreciated the story. I thought it was great. The grandma, Yuh-Jung, and again, if I'm brutalizing the names, my apologies, made my heart melt. I won't bring up what happens there, but just made my heart melt. And Joan Chen, just phenomenal. Just a brilliant cast. I wanted to see the original with Ang Lee, so I'm going to dive in at some point, like you, Heather, to check that out. But overall, I enjoyed this film. I like that. As an Asian American, growing up with Tiger Moms, we're always kind of shown to be that we kind of follow those lines, but we can be fuck ups as well. You know what I'm saying? As Asian Americans, we want to be shown as fuck ups. We are just as irresponsible sometimes, but we don't even get that in Hollywood sometimes. We're always the engineers and the very responsible folks. They don't envision Asian Americans as that. But we are all the same, people. So I just thought it was a brilliant cast. The story was great. They were perfectly imperfect. It's a universal story about having children, wanting to stay here in America, wanting to just be yourself, be gay, be whatever you want to be. And I thought it was a great film, and it cracked the top 5, if not top 3 for me, of films of the year. It was that big for me personally. I thought it was just a well put together story, well cast, And yeah, but I see all your points. Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely. And it's once again, it was a great film. I think this was a type of movie that people like us would really, really enjoy. People within the community, people within the AAPI community. This movie has won a couple of awards in the AAPI community so far, and with the GLAD community. I'm not saying that it can only be gays. It can only be Asians. No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no.
It's a universal story about love and family. Yeah.
It's just this is the type of movie that Kuya and I as human beings like. It's we like the goofy family stories. We like the stories about growth and development. This is a very found family movie. It's very that is kind of a spoiler, but it's also a really important part of the plot. So like that, those are just the kind of silly, loving, romancy stories that him and I enjoy. So if that's the type of movie you like, then you will really enjoy this movie. If you are not kind of the romancy kind of person who enjoys a little bit of underhanded like underlying humor with it, this is not your movie. It's not. It doesn't matter. Once again, it does not matter if it's gay. It doesn't matter if it's Asian. It doesn't matter if it's Native American. If it's indigenous. It's one of those where it's just not going to be your movie. It's not, because that's the entire point of this film. I do want to touch real quick on why this is considered a reimagining and not a remake. The original was about a Taiwanese bisexual man who had to marry his straight roommate, best friend, something like that, so that he could stay with his Jewish partner. And that's really important to understand that this is not a remake of a story that was about a different group of people. This is a remake from a point of view that is wholly different. It's just a retelling of this same concept, because this stuff like this does happen. Yeah, this actually happens. And you get to see a lot more of the Korean the Korean culture through this film than you do with the Taiwanese film. And honestly, the other version was definitely Caucasianized. I'm going to say that it was Caucasianized for a broader audience in America, which makes sense. It was 1993. This doesn't hold back. This doesn't hold back, I don't think. It talks about it. It gives itself its own culture, which is a beautiful thing to watch. That's what the difference is. It's not necessarily a reboot, because it's not the same thing. It is a conceptually same thing, which is why we call it a reimagining. With that being said, final thoughts, Kuya P.
Yeah, like I said, enjoyed the film. In my top 5 of the year, if I'm piecing everything together that I've seen thus far. Well cast, well shots, the ups and downs, it all made sense to me, and I enjoyed the ride, and was pleasantly surprised. My apprehensions quickly got erased, and again, the team behind it, I knew that, but it's the apprehensions towards, as we said earlier, that you helped make clear that there's idiots out there, and sometimes you just say fuck the idiots. This is me making the film for my people, for my culture, and all of that, and he definitely did that. Shout out to Andrew Ahn, and go check out Heather's interview with Andrew.
It was. I really enjoyed it. We bonded a little bit, and I liked it a lot. I think it should open up a little bit to me. You'll see why. Definitely go check out my interview. Is this movie theater? For me, is this movie theater going worthy? As someone who would like to see more representation in film, I think that you should go see it in the theater if you have the opportunity to do so, if you have the funding to do so, if you have the privilege to do so, is the big one here. But that's because we're also, truly indie film kind of people. We like to support indie films. But in all reality, is this worth a $25 ticket? I want to say yes, I really enjoyed this movie, but I think this is a stronger streaming film. You will enjoy it more in the comfort of your own home, in the comfort where you can speak to people. Like, I wish I could talk to my husband while I was watching this, because I think there was a lot of elements, or even Kuya P. I should have just been texting him. He was in Disney. He was in Disney though, and I couldn't do that. And that would be a bitch move. But it's one of those where I do unfortunately think this is the type of film that most people will be streaming. Do I think you should support it? Absolutely, do where you can, but you are still supporting it even on stream. So with that being said, I enjoyed this film. QP enjoyed this film. Cinematically, it wasn't a huge cinematic piece, but it was a well done piece with a good story and a good plot. And the acting was superb, other than this relationship. once again, it's not that they didn't do great individually. I love Lily Gladstone's character. Lee is probably one of my favorite characters in this. She probably is my favorite character in this movie. Unapologetically gay. Like, I love that. But this just didn't. It didn't feel like a relationship at all. Other than that, this movie was wonderful. So with that being said, the movie is available. Excuse me. Wedding Banquet. Let me actually say the name. Wedding Banquet is available right now in theaters as of April 18th, and will be available on stream soon. So definitely check it out when you can. If you have different opinions, if you think that this movie was awful and you're not a bigot, I don't care. Well, no, even if you're a bigot and it makes us money, go ahead and do it. Say what you need to say down below. But with that being said, if you enjoyed this movie, if you have a different opinion from us, please tell us below. Like, share, subscribe, all of those things, and we will talk to y'all soon.
Nerds rule the world.
Pleasure chatting with you. Love to all my nerds who rule the world.
Yeah. Nerds rule the world.
Yes, we do.
Thanks. Nerds rule the world. Thank you.
I love the nerds ruling the world, so more power to you.
Patrick, what up, man? And yes, they do. Nerds rule the world, kid.
Yes,
you know
sir.
I'm one
Thank
of
you. Awesome. Kuya P, nerds rule the world. Hello. Yes, they do.
Yes.
Oh,
nerds rule the world.
I got.
It's in the title of your show, like nerds rule the world. Like, I want more black weirdos on screen, and I don't feel like we ever get to see that very much.
Thank you so much. Nerds do rule the world.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, nerds rule. Love
it. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Julian.
Yes, nerds rule. Yes.
Rock on. I love it. Thank you so much.
It's good to see you. I love Nerds Rule the World.
But yeah, there's a heavy nerd component, man.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you ask me, nerds rule the world. So
absolutely.
And you're right. Nerds do rule the world.
We're just the best.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies.
So much.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
It's your boy Kuya P. Nerds rule the world. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.
Do. They rule the world all right.
Yes. Take care, Tony. Thank you, guys.